Okay, hi Gandy. Thanks a million for joining me on the podcast.
Hi, thank you, Orla. Thanks for having me.
You've had a pretty whirlwind few weeks. I think it was like the 16th of July you announced your college decision for the next couple of years. So talk us
Yeah.
through what's been happening since then.
So since then, I've been with my AAU team in America playing tournaments, and I played my first tournament being committed last week. And I think it's more of a relief than anything being committed and knowing where I'm gonna go and what kind of level I need to bring my game to. So more than anything, I've been relieved and excited for what's coming on.
When you go into a tournament after you've decided or committed to a college, do people start to kind of look at you a bit differently, raise a few eyebrows, a bit of talk around it, or what's that like?
Yeah, there's a lot of different opinions. Like, everyone's gonna have something different to say. So, my first tournament, I could see people looking at me when I walked in. UCONN's a big program, so there's a lot of people who came up to talk to me and congratulated me. Obviously, there's some negative comments like, she's not ranked, but besides that, you have to just know yourself, who you are as a player. So, I just kind of ignored the negative kind of comments and uh, I just try not to get it all in my head, positive or negative. I have to know what my coach wants for me and what I want for myself, and it's kind of challenging since it's the first time this has happened. First time I committed, obviously, but um, it it's okay with all my coaches helping me and being. It's just a relief, honestly. I think just getting over the part that everyone knows about it after the first week, you kind of find it easier. So I've been enjoying it after now.
Good. How have you found the Irish response to it? I saw someone put up, I think they were slagging Jason Clean, saying, "How's it feel to be the second biggest recruit out of Limerick?" What's that been like, the response from the Irish community?
I found it very, I think, kind of heartwarming to know that everyone in Ireland can know that I'm doing well here as well as people in America because they see me more since I'm there all the time. But um, I think the response has been a lot of funny surprise uh, responses and a lot of just very nice, messages to me from the whole Irish community. I feel very supported now that I've released it.
Very good. Have you noticed a bit of traction outside of the Irish basketball community from different Irish people that, we're not the biggest sport here, obviously GAA and rugby and soccer. Have you noticed anything like that? I know Kieran was saying a couple of people have been on to for interviews and stuff, but have you noticed at all people outside the basketball community taking a bit more interest or asking you about it?
Um, well, that's kind of I don't know. I see a lot of people that are not basketball players have, seen it and thought that's a big achievement. Even like, for instance, my friends' parents that don't watch basketball, don't know much about it at all. They'd all say that's a great achievement for Ireland. And even just seeing like people that don't watch basketball, don't play it, have nothing, no connection to it, that I would know or through my friends or through family. I think that kind of proves that in itself that's a big achievement, regardless if you watch or play basketball. Um, uh, from I haven't heard from bigger voices or anything. I've kind of stayed off the internet for a while, but I have heard from a lot of non-basketball related people that this is a great achievement for Ireland in itself. So I
Brilliant.
think a lot of people have recognized that this is an achievement for the country as a whole.
Brilliant. Have you, when you went to the States originally and people were kind of asking a bit about you, and I know you hear stories about people that are going away, and Irish basketball is growing, and we have so many college players now. But remember at the start there was injuries. Like I think Sean Flood was saying, one of his teammates asked him, "Do you even play basketball in Ireland?" Like, what was that the kind of reaction you got when you're over there, or was it different, or how did you find it going to the States when people were reacting to it?
Um, when I went there, a lot of people would ask me how it is here, and obviously it's not as big as it is in America, but being in the basketball community, it feels much larger than it looks to other people, and the fact that it's growing, I think basketball will become one of the biggest sports in this country, by the looks of it. And going there, I was definitely not as confident as a player that as I am now. So I wasn't the greatest example for a great Irish basketball player going there, but with the hard work that I put in, they can see that Irish basketball is they really love it. I love it, the sport, and going there and practicing it every day and becoming better every day along my teammates. who I wanted to catch up with, they can see that there's a passion for the sport through me and through the fact that there's a great growing community here.
Brilliant. When you're over there, what's the style of play like? Did it take a bit of adjustment, or how did you find it?
I think the biggest thing that I noticed about it was the speed. The speed factor was much quicker in the games, as well as the fact that there's highly skilled players playing at a higher speed as well. So not only do you have to adjust to being faster and trying to play defense on someone super skilled, you have to kind of focus on thinking while running super fast and breathing while trying to defend or trying to dribble because the pace is just so it's so different when you come from uh, a slower sort of style of play. Here, it's more focused on the passing and there's more of the fundamentals focused on here. But the speed there plays a huge difference to how you play and how the conditioning. You have to do a lot. I have to do a lot of conditioning going there and become stronger to box out the bigger girls. So there's not many big girls here, but there's a lot over there. So becoming stronger and becoming faster were the two things that I had to focus on first before getting into skills.
Okay, interesting. And is it, we always hear about Irish club teams, like there's obviously limited gym time and you might train maybe twice or three times a week if you're lucky.
Yeah.
But when you go over there, it's every day or 2 days a week. Was that your experience? Or, sorry, 2 times a day. Was that your experience of over there?
Yes. Going there before the high school season even started, everyone's in the gym. They have different trainers that bring a lot of girls in for practices before the season, preseason, after the season. It's every day, and maybe when the season's not on, it's not every day, but you're always doing something small every day. You always have to have a ball in your hand. During the season, there'd be practice every day after school, and when the game started, within 3 weeks of the season starting, there would be a game, then a practice day, then a game, then a practice day, and at first it's very challenging, but I think it really challenges you to see if you really do love the basketball game or not. So if you don't love it, you're going to recognize it straight away going there. That's what I'll say because of how much work, how much time you put into it. You're going to be around it all the time. You either become sick with it, or you're going to realize that you really do love it. And I realized I do love the sport by training 2 hours every day with my team that wanted to get better. Everyone wanted to get better. Um, and it's challenging, but consistency really does help with, getting through the hours. You go to a 5 hour camp on the weekend in the summer and you'll realize this is nothing compared to 2 hours a day.
Yeah, no, it's interesting, and that's what a lot of people have said is when you go over there, it's right. Do I really want to do this? As in, like, because
Yeah,
obviously basketball here is very different. Your commitment is different, but when you go over there, it's like God, basketball is like all you do every day, and you know what? For some players, that's okay. That if they don't like it, and you can come home. But for you,
yeah.
like you did enjoy it and you loved it. Was there any point along your basketball journey, like even at the start, who put the ball in your hand or who got you involved in basketball starting off, even?
Um, I started basketball when I was in sixth class. I joined the Limerick Celtics because a coach had come to the school giving leaflets, and I think we were doing a PE lesson of some of the fundamentals. And I think I had quit soccer to join basketball because it was hard for me to commute to both. And I realized I really did love it because it was just so fun. I found it just really fun, and all the other things I enjoyed, like art or like singing, there's not much competitiveness in the other things that I did. And I realized that I am a competitive person. I had to have something to do with it. And being in the sport with competitive people was really fun. And being tall obviously helped me enjoy it. Blocking people, I realized I love defense. And I wanted to be a lot like Dikembe Mutombo, who was a Congolese player in the NBA. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna go to WNBA, but um as a kid, I just thought it was the coolest thing, and it felt like limitless opportunity playing it here.
Wow, very good. Apart from Dikembe Mutombo, was there anyone in particular you loved watching, whether it was live at National League games or on YouTube or anything like that?
Um, I I think watching the Kembe and watching LeBron, and I just love watching the strong, dominant players because I thought of myself as a strong, tall person. I wanted to watch all the tall people do well, and it was I don't know. I think um watching the even the Limerick Celtics, the under 16s when I was probably in under 14s, playing. I just thought I wanted to be like anyone else that was better than me. So I think watching anyone in the NBA was like wow to me. And the people I looked up to most would probably be the Kembe for defense, LeBron being so dominant in offense, and then anyone in my club that was older than me or, a great player, the boys or the women's. I thought they were just amazing. Everyone. I looked up to
Brilliant.
anyone that was great, honestly.
Okay, very good. When did you hit your growth spurt? Was it around that time that you quit soccer, or was it a bit earlier, or what? When did you start to really kind of grow?
I think I was always really tall. Um I never really had a, oh wow, I'm tall all of a sudden.
Yeah,
No, I was always tall as a kid, and I was taller than my classmates from junior infants up. But I'd say the time that I grew the most was probably going from sixth year to first year. I was maybe 5'10", and then by the end of first year, I was around 6'1" or 6'2" by second year, and I was tall, but I grew a lot in the beginning of secondary school. And
right.
I didn't really notice it at first, but with pictures in that time frame, you could see that I'd grown like way too much. My bones were hurting, my back was hurting, all my joints were hurting. So I think that kind of explains why I was having all that pain during that time.
Yeah, you were 5'10" going into secondary school.
Yeah, I was huge.
Oh my god! I was only because I was only talking with my school friends recently, and we are saying how some of them would have been they're about 5'4" and they haven't grown since sixth class. But you
Oh
were
God,
5'10" going into first year, like that's
yeah.
no wonder you were so like. But they do say when you're taken, even though you didn't have like a massive growth spurt, like going from 5'10" to 6'2", no wonder your joints were so sore. They were trying to
Yeah,
catch up, and your muscles. Was
exactly.
that something that you had to really give a lot of time to in terms of letting your body just adjust and just kind of find yourself within your body?
Yeah, I think as a kid, I used to not like being tall as well. So with my body hurting and everything, um, I think the only thing that really made me feel comfortable in being tall was basketball too. So I don't think I really had to like rest a lot or, take extra time going to the doctors or anything. They had told me it was because I was growing a lot that I was hurting so much. I didn't believe them, but when you're kind of slowed down and you're growing, um, in your time of growing, you kind of realize, yeah, it was definitely my growing that was making me hurt this much. So I didn't like it, but it wasn't a huge bother. Basketball, when I went to basketball, I was like, yeah, I'm tall. This is so cool. And maybe in school I didn't like it as much, but now I feel really comfortable being tall. So that time it wasn't enjoyable, but it didn't stop me from playing or didn't stop me from going to school and just, being a normal kid or anything.
When you went to the States then, height wise, would you like what height are you at now, and what sort of height would your competitors be?
So in basketball they measure you with your shoes. So off the court I'm 6'4", and on the court they measure me at 6'5". And um I think I was surprised that there's a lot of girls that average at 6 foot and 6'1", but it's still rare to find someone at my height. And I guess I was going there thinking that there'd be half of a team of 6'5" girls, and I would just be like still I'd be an average kind of height in America, but I think it's still very rare to find players that are this tall, and that's why it's surprising to find someone in Ireland at that height too. Um, so going there, I felt more comfortable being tall again because of the average heights being 6 foot and 6'1" was very surprising. Um, as still, even if I was expecting taller players, it was surprising to see so many people at an average height, at an average having an average tall height as a woman. Um, so talking to my friends in basketball, I don't have to, lean down or say what 100 times in a conversation because I can hear them, I can see them at eye level, and it's very comforting, I think, and they're all very confident in their height. So, you know, going there again, it was another confidence booster. Like, well, what do I have to worry about my height if all of these tall girls don't care? There's so many of them. We're all tall, so just might as well live with it. You're not going to get shorter, so it's fine.
And was that actually, that's really interesting because when you're in Ireland, you hear so much about the States. Was that the biggest misconception when you went over? Was you were expecting a team of full of people that were near your height or basically your height, and it was a bit smaller, or was there something else that was kind of, oh, this wasn't what I expected it to be?
Um, yeah, I think the biggest misconception for me was that I would see a team of 6'5" girls, and I'd be, the I'd just be another kind of tall girl in a pool of super tall girls like me. But um, it's just very hard to find someone a girl that's over 6'3". But it was still surprise. It was very surprising to see tall girls. But yeah, I think I was expecting that, and I think it's a good thing as well for myself as a player, that my height is still rare in wherever I go. It's even if it's America or whatever. But another thing I was surprised about is that, girls at 5'10" in America don't really play the post, and people at my height could play the guard. And I think being here as this, 6'4" girl, I thought I would only be able to play the post. So another thing that I hadn't known that was that girls at 6'2", 6'3", 6'4" could be the point guard of a team. And I think that's something that's really important for girls here to know, is that they sh they can't just be stuck in the post in all the practices and all of the matches, because you're gonna need it if you want to go to America. If you're 6'1", you're gonna need to know how to play the guard, and you're gonna be have to be taught how to dribble, how to pass, how to shoot, and how to lead a team at the top of the key, because not all tall girls are going to be in the post, because a lot of tall girls don't even want to be a post in America, and it's surprising to me because I want to play the post and I can at my height, but it's very useful for me to go to practice and learn the guard moves, because what if I join a team and it's a 7 foot girl? It's America, you don't know what you're going to expect. So that's something that's really surprised me. Something that I think a lot of people here need to know, is that you need to know how to play a lot of positions as a tall person.
Okay, that's really interesting. And that's something I've heard Suzanne McGuire speak about, obviously one of the best Irish players on the women's side. And she was saying how when she was younger, even though she was potentially tall at 12, 13, that she wasn't stuck in the post. They let her develop her guard skills, and that's what stood to her. So you're saying you really have to develop all your skills. You have to be so versatile here, for, even if you want to just play here in terms of developing as a player. But if you want to go abroad, you really have to. It's kind of going back to that positionless basketball of just being able to kind of
Yes.
play anywhere and and guard anyone really.
Yeah. I could be stuck on someone that's 5'5". You don't know what kind of team you're going to play, but that's the speed factor coming in again. You're going to have to be faster, and you're going to have to, round all of the skills in your game, because you don't know what position you're going to be stuck in when you're going there. It's not going to be what you expect. It's very surprising to anyone.
When did you feel like you took your biggest step of development in Ireland? What age were you, and what did you do to kind of improve as a player when you were still here?
I think I took my biggest step in my last year, when I was playing with the U18s on Limerick Celtics. Um, uh, I think it was because I knew I was going to leave and go to America. I needed to be more confident as a player on the court. I needed to, step up my game. And I think I really let myself turn on the switch in my head. It was in the fact that I can't just, shy away or be, nervous. And being loud and being confident and wanting to make an impact on the team, it really changes your game. Like, it's the mental stuff that really changes the physical stuff that you do. And I was a naturally shy person. So, going on the court, I would, shy away from wanting to hold the ball, pass it as fast as I can, which isn't a completely bad thing. Passing is good, but you have to know how to control yourself when you have the ball. And I think knowing that I was an impact player as well, that really helped me change my game and helped my team in the finals as well. We won the All Ireland finals, and I was happy that I knew that I had made an impact by being more confident and wanting to change, the impact of the game, instead of just being a tall person that, catches the ball, passes it away. I could score as well. and I could pass and I could do all the other things that other players can do. That's when I took the biggest leap in my game, being more confident.
And a question I love asking all the guests is sport or basketball more physical or mental? I'm getting the sense for you it's more mental because you notice that shift in your physical ability after you
Yeah.
change your mindset a bit.
Yeah, you could be an immense athlete, but if you're not mentally confident in yourself, mentally confident in winning, it's not going to show on the court. It's going to show on the court, and it's not going to show that you're a good athlete.
Very good.
Yeah.
When you mentioned there that you knew you were going to America, talk us through the steps of getting to America, how the opportunity came about, and the decision to go because it is a big decision.
Yes. Before I even, talked to Kieran or knew that I had a chance of going there, everyone wants to say that they're going to America. So I had to find that kind of bridge between Ireland and America, and Kieran finding me was that kind of bridge. And then when he, talked to me about possibly having an opportunity to go there, I had to, understand that this was serious and had to talk to my parents and realize if I really do love basketball, because that's when the opportunity comes to your doorstep. It's kind of hard to realize if you really do want to take this seriously or not. And my parents being, immigrants and, taking an opportunity, leaving their home in Congo, coming here, they understand what it is like to take opportunity. And they know that I love basketball and I knew I love basketball, but being questioned with it is kind of hard. So they were my biggest supporters in pushing me to go to training every day and work hard and know that everything I do is for something bigger because I knew I wanted to go to America, and they just helped me realize it with their support. And it was a hard year, and it was a very enjoyable year. Working with new people on the Irish 17 squad and working harder with my 18s team and my club. Um, it was a lot of training and a lot of working when you're not on the team. You have to work outside of your practices. You have to work by yourself and work on your dribbling, work on your shooting, have a ball in your hand every day, even if it's just 10 minutes dribbling. Um, I think taking it seriously throughout the year, then all the paperwork after taking it seriously, it felt much easier to say yes to this decision when you do all the hard work before it because you know you're doing it for something. So the paperwork is a lot. My parents' first language isn't English, so I was doing a lot of the reading, a lot of the oh, this means that. Can you sign this? And it was a lot, but it was fine because I knew I wanted to do it, and um, the school was great, so it wasn't too hard to say yes to everything. It was just hard of letting go of everything here. But I know my family's always here, so going there and my friends supporting me, my family supporting me, going there in August of 2022, I was very confident in leaving. I was very confident in going to America, and it was a long process, obviously, but it was all worth it, obviously, in the end. And it's still not finished, so I'm excited to continue. And knowing that um, I'd gone through all of that and come out still loving basketball after all the tears and the training and all of the, getting used to new coaches, new weather, new country. The year was definitely worth it. And I'm excited for the next year. Yeah.
Brilliant. It's interesting, Limerick, they're really on the rise in terms of basketball. And you said you knew you want to go to America. And when you look at the likes of Nathan Moore, Eve Nealon's over there now, and Lucy Dubois is obviously going now. And obviously, before all that, Jason Clean had gone. Was the idea of going to America always kind of there in Limerick? Was there is an opportunity? Because with sometimes in basketball communities, you might be the first person to go, and was the idea already kind of planted in terms of this could be a potential opportunity? Is that the culture in basketball in Limerick that there are opportunities to go away?
Yeah. I feel like it's always kind of talked about. It's kind of lingering in the air that if you do well enough, you can go to America because of all of the people in Limerick that have done well and gone to America. But I think it has to be more evident to some players because for me it felt more like it didn't feel like a reality for me. It just felt like, oh, I could go there, perhaps, but I didn't even know the work that you had to put in. I did not know the people I had to talk to go to America. So I feel like it isn't as clear of a bridge as it should be, but the hard work that you have to put in and all of that can be made clear by any coach or any club. So I think just having all these people be examples, it's very good to know who you need to talk to. Uh, and I would be happy to talk to anyone that would want to go to America. So being a well-known example to people and being letting yourself as a person going to America and training there. I think being outspoken is very needed for younger players because it's very hard to know if it's even possible and what you need to do. So I think um, in Limerick, it still needs to become more evident of how what you need to do to go there. But it is a very talked about reality now that so many people have succeeded and gone there, and I'm happy that it is becoming more evident to people.
Is there anyone particular that you turn to when, you know, a sport has many ups and downs, or is there anyone that you like to turn to when things aren't going well that you kind of use as a confidant, or somebody that you maybe outside your family and friends that knows basketball that you can just turn to and really have a good chat about, you know, when things just aren't going your way?
Um, I think most I would talk to my high school coach, um, or even Kieran because of their past of basketball. Um, my high school coach has been a great supporter of me coming here, and the fact that he has given me a chance to even start on the team in my first year, he has helped me in mornings, in afternoons, ask me about how my grades are. So I think a lot of people in my school community have been very supportive of me, you know, becoming better. And it's hard sometimes because I feel like I'm doing the wrong thing a lot of the time in my first few months, my first few months there. But the fact that my high school coach would keep asking me questions made me confident in asking him questions. And I could ask Kieran questions because he had gone through the same thing 20 years prior when he went to America from Ireland. So I had a lot of people that had been through my path um, before me. So it's very easy to ask those kind of people that understand where you're coming from, um, what I'm doing wrong, or if I need to do anything, or if I'm doing anything right. Just for asking the people that you relate to, they're the ones that really helped me in my first few months there.
Is there anything that you feel like you brought from Ireland to America that's a bit different from everybody else? Is there anything that you've noticed that we do particularly well here that translates well over there?
I feel like the fact that people do so many different sports really helps on the defensive aspect of basketball. Uh, being I used to play soccer and going to basketball since I wasn't as confident scoring, I loved defense. And going there, defense is not as loved as it should be. Especially college coaches notice it. They will look at you and see if you play defense, if they see you can score. If you can't play defense, then you scoring is not going to be very valuable to them. So I feel like going to America and being so such a defensive loving player and being on courts with people that don't like defense, it has helped me stand out a lot because defense just is just passion, really. Defense is just wanting it more than the other person. It's not skill, it's not talent, it's just working hard, and that defense always shows how hard of a worker you are. And I think that's showed a difference in a lot of European players there, especially on the boys' team. I notice it with the Spanish players or one of the players is from Kosovo. Defense always shows a lot in the European players, and I think that's something people need to hold on to.
Okay, that's really interesting, and that's why I get the sense that you love it is because you're a bit different than to your competitors. And what you said there about that's really interesting about college coaches won't look at you scoring; they'll only look at you scoring if you can play defense. Like that's really good insight for anyone listening. Is there a lot of European players over there on your men and women's high school team?
On my team, the women's team, I'm the only one from Europe. But on the men's team, there's a Spanish player. He's just graduated, and he just came from Spain to his senior year, and he got committed to college already. And it's his hard work shows the most, honestly, on the defensive and offensive side. There's a player from Kosovo, and I think those are the only two other European players there. But on the other teams, in high school, you notice a lot of European players now coming in. It's very recent, and there's a high amount of them, and I think most of them do get played based on hard work, and their hard work will translate to skill work, but your skill or talent won't translate to hard work unless you put it in. And I think that's just a big aspect of European players becoming so looked for and very very much dominating the teams in America now in high school.
Okay, that's really interesting. When did you start to notice the college interest kind of pick up a bit of pace, or who was the first college to reach out, and how did you react to it?
Um, the first college that reached out to me would have been one from New York. Um, I think that was in my first month, and what happens is that in high school you have these things called open runs, and they're kind of just scrimmages between players on your own team in high school, and college coaches get invited to come watch, and they can see how you play and how good you are. And I think I was first scouted just based on height and based on hard work. Um, my motor was a big noticeable thing. Being able to run up and down is such a noticeable thing. You can get scouted based on just running. So in my first month, that was the first school to reach out to me. But I think the biggest kind of influx of colleges reaching out to me would have been in my towards the end of my high school season and the start of my AAU season. Because I had become uh, I feel like I had become a much better player offensively, and I had just started for my high school team towards the end of my season. So it's hard for college coaches um, to notice me before because I hadn't gotten much playing time as I was just raw and I wasn't ready to play yet. But towards the end of my high school season, I felt more ready and I wanted to make an impact. And being a louder voice, people notice you instantly. They look at you, and when they see you playing well as being loud, they're going to keep looking at you. And I think me becoming a louder voice, becoming a more confident player on the court, and scoring and playing defense, both of those together made me more noticeable towards the start of summer. The start of summer really changed a lot of things for me.
Okay, and when did UConn come knocking? When was that?
That was in June, when I was in Dallas for my AAU team. Dallas had a huge tournament, and all of the colleges had come to watch different players, and obviously UConn was there. They saw me playing with my team, and it was against a very, very good team. So that really changes things when you're playing well against a very good team. We didn't win that game, but I think the fact that we were still positive, a very positive and loud team, and we were very, very determined to beat the team that, was very hard to beat. And we still ultimately lost, but UConn notices those kind of things. A very positive player or a very positive team, loud and ready to win, even if a lot of people don't think you are going to. So it was nice that I was happy to see that they were on the list of coaches watching, because we as a team were very positive, and I was happy that they were there to watch that.
Good. And when a college coach shows interest, and I've no idea how this works, but do they email you? Do they come up and talk to you and say, "Hello, I'm from this college"? How does that work?
So they cannot come up to talk to you during a live event, any tournament. They can't come up directly and talk to you. But I think after the event is over, uh, and if you're a junior or senior, they are allowed to message you. And if you're a freshman or a sophomore, they can't message you directly, but they can message you through your high school coach and say that they would like for you to call them. So since I was going to junior year, after June 1st, colleges are allowed to text me first. And they had gone in contact with me. And after that, after the tournament, I was very interested in them, obviously, because it's UConn. And I had my goals, had a path right to my goals, hopefully going to the WNBA, and very good post players coming from that kind of college. It's very hard to say no to that.
And what is that like when they send you a text? Do you call them? Did you get to go on a visit? How did you? What went into your decision? Obviously, apart from knowing the caliber of the program and it does align with your goals, talking to them, what made you decide to go there? Was it what? What were the conversations like?
So the first thing would have been a text to call, and obviously UConn is a very successful program, so they're going to keep their eye on you. They'll keep their eye on you before making any quick decisions. So it was a probably a month long kind of talking period, and it was calls and them wanting to watch me during my tournaments, and after that uh I would have visited probably a month after our first conversation. So I went to the college, and I really did love UConn. It was a beautiful campus, and it was very secluded. And I'm not a city person, so I love being in the quiet. And it was a great team, and the whole coaching staff was very, very kind, very passionate about the team, and very honest. So they would have told you what they thought you could do better. And honestly, being around that kind of place and being around that kind of family when you're away from your own and so far, it makes you feel very comforted. So um, when I visited and talked to all the coaches, and they had shown their interest in me, uh, and they were very persistent after a while because they'd seen that I was able to play at that kind of level. And I was persistent to them as well. So it's not just a giving, it's a giving and taking. You're both showing interest in each other. And at that point, I knew I wanted to commit because of, they liked me, I liked them, and I knew what they could do for me, and I want to do something for them, and they know that. So that's great. That's when I committed, probably a month after first conversations.
Wow. And were they, when they're talking to you in terms of the coaches, are they very honest in terms of why they're recruiting you and what you'd have to work on? And would you be
Yeah.
willing to share any of those points?
Yeah. Not all colleges are the same. So it was very noticeable that this college was very honest about what they thought I could do for them, and what they saw in me as a player. Um, right now, I wouldn't say I'm the most skillful player, but I would say that I'm one of the most hardworking players I know, because because of how much I know I need to put into the team, how much I know I can do for the team. I want to put all of it in, and they were very interested in that, and they're interested in my motor. My motor would be how much I run up and down without having to take like slow down or take too many breaths. You have to keep breathing while running, and rather than stopping and walking on the court, they noticed that I would like to keep moving and keep active when I don't have the ball in my hand. Um, those were the kind of things that they noticed about me first, and those are the kind of things I think a lot of very high Division 1 schools and any good basketball school, Division 2, Division 3, they want to see that kind of motor. They want to see that kind of passion for the game, and it's not seen a lot nowadays. Sometimes it just feels like you're working on skills too much, or you have the ball too much in your hands, don't want to share it. And they noticed that I was willing to just do anything for the win, and that's what I liked about them, that they were honest about what they liked about me, and the things that they liked were the things that I like about the game. So we saw eye to eye with that, and I liked that about UConn.
Where does your motor come from? Is it from your
Um,
soccer background, or where do you think it's from?
I'm actually playing soccer, perhaps, but I wouldn't say it's from soccer. I didn't play soccer for too long, maybe 2 years. Um, and before I went there, when I arrived in America originally, I didn't feel as fast as anyone else, and I was finding it hard to keep breathing. I feel like I didn't really notice the switch from when I could keep running from when I couldn't. Um, but I would just say um, the fact that I didn't try to restrain myself from running before, and I was becoming stronger every day, and in the gym every day, running and running. And the fact that I didn't want to like become lazy, and not being lazy can really, stop you from becoming the best player that you can be. And it can stop you from reaching that kind of potential. So the fact that I wasn't lazy, I think that really contributed to the fact that I just kept running every time. And every day I'd become better at running longer. I didn't stop myself from becoming better at that. So um, I'm not sure where my motor comes from, honestly. But the fact that I can do it now I wouldn't want to stop myself from becoming better at that too. So just don't, I think the best thing to make your motor better is just not be lazy and restrain yourself, because then you won't become better in the next practice. And that happens over a period of time, and then you're still at the same level as you were before. So just letting yourself keep running, and work to the edge of work to the edge of where you think you need to stop. If you need to stop, stop. But if you know you can keep going, then don't stop yourself, because then you won't get better next practice.
Wow. You're 17, 18, and you've so much wisdom about working hard. Where does your work ethic come from? Because this is like, you don't see this in some adults. Like, where do you think this
Uh,
wisdom or work ethic comes from?
I feel like my parents are just the biggest inspiration to me. They had to leave their country because it's still war ridden. There's a lot of resources in Congo, and those would always be taken advantage of. It won't stop. So the fact that they had to leave their families and they're doing well right now, that really just, puts into perspective what I need to sacrifice. They've sacrificed so much. And honestly, sometimes basketball doesn't even seem like the most of it, because they had to leave a war ridden country. And I'm just leaving Ireland to go play basketball. That doesn't feel like, you know, as much as what they did. So the fact that I can even do a fraction of what they did, I feel proud of, doing something for them. They done something for me, and I'm excited to do good things for them when I, succeed in college and hopefully further in my life. So, I feel like just their inspiration really translates into what I want to put into the game and what I want to put into my work. Just to see them be happy makes me happy.
Wow, that's incredible. No, that's amazing. I wanted to ask you particularly about head coach Gino. What's he like? I love watching clips of him online. Give us a bit of an insight into what he's like.
Um, at first, I found him very intimidating. But if you're meeting someone that's that successful and so, serious about the game, you're gonna find anyone like that intimidating. My first impression would have been that I think I found him brutally honest, honestly. Just like the rest of the staff, they were very honest, but he would not stop himself from saying anything, honestly. Like if he saw you doing something wrong, or he would he would just stare at you, and he would tell you, and you'd want to fix your mistake because he knows what he's doing. Um and talking to him, he's a very kind person, honestly. And he kind of let me have my own feel for UConn before he kind of pushed too much interest into me. So I didn't feel like I was some golden ticket for them. I felt like I was on a list, and I was lucky enough to even be there. And they didn't, make me feel like I was on a list or anything, but they did make me feel like this was completely my decision. As they got to choose if they were interested in me, but they were not going to drag me in. They know what they're doing, and I'm not going to be the person to fix UConn, because UConn doesn't need fixing. UConn would help me more than anything. So um he was very honest in that kind of way, that he wanted me to make that decision. He wanted me to be in control, and it will translate to the court. He's kind of, evaluating me as a person. So the fact that he 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 knows what he's doing. He knows how to make a team better. He knows how to talk to a person, and he knows how to see if they really want to be there, or if they just, feel flattered. Uh, Made me really want to go to UConn, because I know that I want to go there, and I want him to see that without feeling flattered or anything, because I'm serious about my decision. He was serious about me, and being a serious coach is very important. And I know he would push me to become a better player. He was talking to to the rest of the team like they were just players and not superstars. Like I was looking at them like they were superstars, but he was looking at them like everyone just needs to get better, and everyone does need to get better. That's what interested me. And I knew I wouldn't be babied. I knew I wouldn't be, pampered. I knew that I would be pushed to become the best player that I can be. And that's what you need. You need someone to push you. And I knew he would do that in the way I talked to him.
Wow. Did you get to watch their practice, and how did you find watching it? Was it just a completely new level and just new things, or was it just What was it like? Was it anything you'd seen before, or was it completely different?
It was very efficient, I'll say that. The fact that they would do one drill and they had a timer and they were ready to go to the next drill, and every drill looked like they were fighting for their lives to become the best player they could be. Like everyone was putting their work in and everyone was pushing each other to get better. You would not hear like fireworks going off in that gym with the way everyone was shouting and like talking to each other and communicating. I think it was very different to anything I'd ever seen. Obviously, coaches preach communication and coaches would preach talking to your teammates and getting them better, but these players seemed like they were coaches in themselves. The way they were talking to each other, they were like they were like teachers to each other and they were like students to each other. And they were ready to go to the next thing. They knew what they were doing. And you couldn't see if anyone was lacking effort because everyone was putting everything they had into every single drill, and they were going up and down, and like no one was jogging. It was very, very efficient, and everyone was ready to get better. And these are people that everyone looks up to. So the fact that they put so much work into it and don't act like superstars, and that's what you should not do. So um, I think it was it's very relieving to see that they wanted to put hard work in and they weren't just naturally like that. They put hard work in to, making a layup, and made it look flawless. There was no mistakes, and they could have been mistakes, but you wouldn't see because of how good they were. Their mistakes could have been, your biggest talent. So it was very good to see hardworking players in that gym.
Wow. And I know after you announced that your commitment, obviously you were contacted by James Weldon and the senior women's team about joining them, and you trained with them and you made your debut. What was that like, getting to play for the senior women's team at 17, 18? And I know you played for the 17s team 2 years ago, but to kind of, I'm sure you have different goals and hopefully the Irish team is one of them. But what was that like to make that debut now the last weekend?
I think it was very nice to wear green. Like it felt like a duty, and I was very happy to go onto the court with such talented people, and they were very happy to have me. And I think I told my mom about it, and I told my dad about it. I was gonna train with the national senior women's team, and they were like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's a very big opportunity, just to see what you'll be like in a few years' time, at 17. It's very exciting, and training with such good players, and the people that represent the country, people that you look up to. Um, it only makes you want to be there more. It makes you want to work harder for it more in the future. And sitting on the bench and being on the court with them and being playing against the college for the first time, I was just in awe, honestly. It was very exciting for me, and I'm excited to train with them again next weekend and play with them. Um, so I can just say it's like amazing for me, honestly. It's great.
Brilliant. And how does it feel in terms? I know you mentioned the WNBA, but to be Susan Moore and obviously first player, you went to the New York Liberty, to have potentially the opportunity and one of your goals to go there. What would that mean for that dream to come true?
And it would mean the world to me and my family. I think the fact that it was only a kind of lingering kind of dream for me before I even had the chance to go to America, and the fact that it came true just like kind of proves to me that hard work and people giving a chance to other people really just makes a huge difference into how you can change a life, and I can change my family's life and my cousins and my family in Congo. It feels great to represent not only the country, but as well as your family and Congo, and like honestly, it feels great that it feels like it's an arm length away, because honestly it felt like it was continents and light years away, and hard work really just makes everything closer and closer. And the fact that my family have always believed in me, and the fact that they were like, oh, you could go to the WNBA, before I even believed, I was like, stop saying that. No, I think you really just need people to support you and give you a hand, and no one's dream is too far away, honestly. With this happening and UConn happening, and even high school happening, I won't shy away from opportunity for anything now. It's very important to give people a chance, and I think that that has changed my life, and hopefully in the future I'll change someone else's life, and hopefully this inspires other people to change other people's lives, because the WNBA is only an arm length away, and so anything else could be an arm length away for anyone else.
Wow, that's pretty cool. When you said to your family that you kind of are interested, do they understand the gravity of the program and the college, or do you have to kind of explain it to them, or in what way does that work?
I had to explain it to them. I had to explain everything. Basketball isn't, a thing I ran around. Like my parents probably couldn't dribble a ball, but explaining it to them makes it better, honestly, for me. I feel like the fact that I have to say like UConn is this, and they're like, what? Like every time I say something else, they're like, wait, really? And they're Googling it and they're searching it. I think it makes it better, honestly. The fact that they don't know what it is at first, and I can explain it to them, and they can enjoy like the surprise with me more and more. It makes it it makes it funny, but it's I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change it. I'm happy that they don't play basketball, because who knows what I'd be like if my mom, was trying to 1v1 me every day and change my skill. So it's fine with me.
Brilliant. Yeah, I had a really interesting question in about kind of working out and routines. I know you're home now to the end of August. Are you training by
Yeah.
yourself? What do you do? What do you like to do in the gym by yourself or with a trainer away from a team practice?
Um, but I'm by myself. I focus a lot of on conditioning if I'm in the gym, not the court. First of all, would be conditioning, because when you're not training with other people, you don't notice how much you're not moving, or how much, you're lacking on running or just moving your arms. So a lot of stuff in the gym would be conditioning, and even moving with dumbbells and moving your arms a lot, because you don't know how much of a workout you're getting when you're working with a team. You kind of lack it when you're away. But when I'm on the court, I'd focus a lot on shooting, just mid-range, even just layups as well, and post moves for me as a player, and uh, three-point shots at the end of practice, because you don't want to as you want to get better, you don't want to go down a level, and staying at the same level is okay, but getting if you want to get better when you come back, you want to keep working on the things that you're not good at. So sometimes I focus more on developing my post moves and becoming more confident on putting them on the game court, because it's hard for me to do post moves on a game court sometimes. So I know I need to keep working on my post moves. I need to work on my 3-point shots, because I don't really take 3-point shots in games. So sometimes in team practice, I won't do it as much. But working on things I don't work on, and working more on things that I need to get better on, and still doing the things that I'm good at, so I don't lack them when I go back. Just knowing what kind of things you need to do more would be the things that you're not good at. The things that you feel like you're lacking on, just keep working on those in the gym. When you go back, you'll notice the difference when you're playing against different players. Um, and the conditioning part, very important. Just do a lot of conditioning, or run by yourself, or even if you're walking somewhere, walk a bit faster, or just get a ball in your hands and dribble it when you're walking. It can be something little, but um, when I'm in the gym, those are the things I like to do.
Okay, very good. Another interesting question, and I'm not expecting the big solution, but I'm interested to hear your thoughts on improving Irish basketball here from what you've seen in the year and your experience with college. Is there anything in particular that we can do to improve the level of basketball in Ireland?
Um, there'd be probably um doing more 1v1s and 3v3s and 5v5s in practice. I feel like 1v1s we don't do as much. Maybe I didn't do them as much, but playing against so many different kinds of players in America, and doing 1v1s in camps, I notice how much 1v1 is important. I could 1v1 a player that's a 5'5" guard in America, and I wouldn't know how to defend them at first, because I wouldn't really be marking that kind of player in the first place. But I think having players play against different kind of players, even if they don't play the same position, faster, taller, stronger, you shouldn't make them shy away from playing someone that's better, because that makes you so much better to play someone that's better than you. and it makes it better to play against someone that's different to you. So doing 1v1s in a practice and doing 2v2s, they're important because you really emphasize the passing aspect. You emphasize playing against different players. You emphasize defense, um, and the fundamentals. I think focusing on getting better at layups before getting better at 3-point shots, and focusing on being able to run up and down the floor before uh, doing skills up and down the floor. You need to be able to do simple things before you go on to harder things. And I would say it's always better to play against people than it is to play against cones. So even if you have someone that doesn't play basketball, someone that can just run or play in front of you to get to the basket, it's always so much better than playing against a cone, because a cone is a stagnant item, and it really does show on the court when you can't get past someone. When you're playing against a cone, when you're doing skills against a cone, you have someone that doesn't even play basketball moving their arms, moving their feet. You notice how much more you need to change your skills, and how much you need to get further, or how much you need to back up and change your speed. Those things can, playing against someone rather than a cone, changes so much more when you're playing on the court with the team. So I think those are the kind of things I would change in practices, and those things you can do yourself at home. Those things will help you get better as a player.
Okay, very good. I'm going to move on to the sideline seven, but I'm going to ask you one more question. I love asking this question. Is what would your definition or interpretation of success be, Gandhi? Is there any, when you, at the end of the day, when you finish up as a basketball player in hopefully 20, 30 years' time, is there any, what would be a successful career for you? What do you define as success?
Defining success would probably just be knowing that I improved. Even when I was talking to colleges, the one thing I always said I would want from the end of my years in college would be knowing that I left a better player than I was before, not just, skill wise and not just defensive or offensive wise, but knowing that I'm smarter, knowing that I understand players better, I can listen to a coach better, just knowing that you improved and seeing the different ways you can improve. Like if you can even say like, well, I know my layups are better because I can score my left hand and my right hand, I can do a reverse layup rather than just being able to do a normal right hand layup. And being able to define the things that are better just shows that you've improved. Because if you have a little difference, maybe you can kind of say what you did better, but knowing that you can say, "Oh, this is better because you do," that just shows that you've become a better player. And I think improving is really the definition of success, because that just shows you put something into the game. And if you don't put anything into it, talent is not going to carry you. Hard work will always carry you. So I think hard work, improving, will always define success at the end of the day.
Wow. I'm going to move on to sideline seven. It's the same seven questions at the end of every episode. Question one,
Yeah.
Gandhi, what is your favourite quote? Are you a big quotes fan?
A big quotes fan. Uh, I did think. Um, hard. Oh yeah, I did have a quote. I think I just kind of said it. I said, "Hard work beats talent when talent isn't working hard enough." Um, Talent will never beat hard work, honestly, in my opinion. And I think that's really important because that just shows that anyone can become the best of whatever uh, whatever they're doing, in art or in running or in basketball. Hard work will always be talent, honestly.
Very good. I know you mentioned before art and singing. Are they kind of outlets that you use away from basketball? Is there anything you like to do in your spare time?
Yeah. I think before basketball, I was always an artsy person. I still take art classes because I love it. I love painting. I love drawing, and those are my favorite things to do outside of basketball. And sometimes it's hard to know which one I like better, but I really do love singing and singing. I do choir in church. I think those two things are very enjoyable to me. Basketball is enjoyable because of the competitive aspect and the working out and feeling physically better as well. I think mentally, art and singing would always help me.
Okay, very good. Question two, what's the biggest or the best sporting event you've been to? And you can pick one as a fan and one as a player.
Oh, as a fan, I went to Liberty versus Sun game. It was the first WNBA game I went to. It was this summer, and I think it really puts into perspective what like you can see yourself on the court, and I think I really did love watching it. That's in that way. And as a player, best sporting event I've been to, probably my first high school game in America. I don't think I played much, but I was so nervous and like I feel when I went on the court and I scored for the first time and it was just a huge relief and but not even just a relief, it just felt like, whoa, this is like really fun. I can score on American players. I think that was my favorite moment in high school. Just my first score and my first blocks were it's just so fun. It's the fun feeling and it really means the world when you're playing there for the first time.
Okay, brilliant. Question three: what's the biggest setback or challenge you've had so far in your career, and how did you react to it?
The biggest setback, my biggest challenge would have been confidence and not being loud enough or not wanting to hold the ball long enough. Going there it became more obvious uh, because of when went to my first practices. I'd get the ball and the first thing I would do was pass it away, and I didn't notice how close I was to the basket until people and my coaches were like, "You're right there, just score it." And I like look back like well, I guess I am right there, so maybe I should just score it. But the first thing I'd always do is pass it away. So I think becoming confident in holding the ball and protecting it and talking to people on the court, shouting, making sure they can hear me, those are the things I struggled with first. And I think making those things better have really changed my game. Becoming a louder person, becoming a score maker, a playmaker, or a better teammate has really been beneficial to my development as a player.
Okay, very good. Question four: what's been your biggest achievement on or off the court so far?
Uh, my biggest achievement, I got I got an arts award at school for the whole year of just painting and drawing. I got the best artist award, and I think that was my biggest achievement being there. And it's a big school, so I think that's my biggest achievement so far.
Brilliant. Question five: looking back, you're only 17, 18. What advice would you give your younger self? I'll change the question slightly.
Um, Advice I give my younger self is to just not be as uh not to be as nervous as I was, and just enjoy it, enjoy basketball rather than be too scared to talk or anything, because it changes so much being able to talk, and you have so much more fun when you're not too nervous or worrying about everything.
Okay, very good. Question six: you can open up the table to a few people, but who would be your dream dinner guest and why?
Um, I dreamed it, I guess, probably be Shaq. He seems so funny. And I saw him walking at an AAU event. And he was so huge, and I don't usually think people are big. So when I saw him, I was just like, whoa. And he's so funny. So he would probably be my favorite dinner guest to talk to. And, I love the looks people saw if I walked in with Shaq. So probably Shaq.
Did you get to say hi to him, or did you just see him walking by?
No, he was right behind me. He was right behind me, and he was watching his daughter's game because his daughter was playing in a different game. And I looked behind me, and because I was watching a game from an older team in my club, and people were on the sidelines, like across the court from me, and they were like pointing behind me. I noticed so many people pointing. I was like, "What?" Look behind me, Shaq in full height, full form behind me, and I was like, "Whoa." And I saw videos after, and it was just I could see me and my coach standing behind Shaq, just side eyeing him, and I didn't get to say hi, but being in his presence was just it was enough, so it was okay.
Okay, very good, very good. Before I let you go, this is the final question, Gandhi. If your life was a book, what chapter would this be called?
um, I feel like this would be called this chapter would be called um hmm trying to think of the word. Um Suiting up. I'd say suiting up because I feel like I'm ready. I'm really excited for this high school season. I feel like I was more nervous than excited before last year. And now I feel very excited and ready to work hard. So I'd say suiting up because I'm ready to put on my gear and I'm ready to go on the court and I'm ready to go to school. Like I'm just excited about everything right now. So I'm ready to put in the work and everything.
Brilliant. Well, look, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I just want to wish you the best of luck with basketball and everything beyond. And I can't wait. And I know I speak for everyone in Ireland when we say we can't wait to watch you play and represent over in the States. So thanks a million again. And I'm looking forward to catching you on the 13th versus, or the 12th versus Austria.
Thank you so much, Orla. This has been great. I really enjoyed this.